Welcome back to Roadside Nuggets, everybody. My name is George, here with 5D Full Disclosure this evening. How is everybody doing? Definitely seen a lot of this energy for a moment as things are building up as we hit February. And definitely we were talking about breaking cycles of last live stream. So this one is going to go a little bit deeper into that because this is a big collective theme energy. We've obviously had a lot of that experience within the field, and definitely it's definitely something that's going to help the collective move forward in big advancements. Because again, the cycles, for there to be a cycle, there has to be a lot of energy reserved in the cycle. That's what keeps it pretty much having the momentum going in the loop. So the thought loops that we have, the different behavioral patterns that we go into all the time that we can't seem to stop doing. It's because we've generated enough energy into that. We've put enough effort. We've invested enough of our thoughts and energy into that to where it's become a thing now, right? So when we end up breaking that cycle, when we end up dissolving it and coming out of it, there's a lot of ourself that returns back to us when we come out of the cycle. So actually, it's a massive release of energy. It's a massive realization in the self on many levels, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. And it releases you from a lot of the things, belief systems, different attachments, and different traumas and wounds or different reasonings or just the whys of why you do things. Once those change and you don't have a why anymore, you're not really having much energy to really put towards the thing you keep doing. So, the way we're going to ascend, the way we are waking up and dissolving the ego, it's very multidimensional. It's happening in many different ways. So this is just a wild card, so to speak. We didn't really plan for this, but definitely everything's being thrown on the table right now. Things from over the years, things that just have plagued you, your deepest cores, things that are just a massive obstacle, right now for you either waking up, moving forward on your path of ascension, connecting or embodying your higher self, or just getting to a higher ground in yourself or just in your reality. What is stopping you? So these turbulent events are going to help us really shake loose from a lot of those things that have just had us stuck in a rut for a while. And for me personally, an experience like it's been really refreshing in a lot of ways. One of the biggest things we're talking about is forgiveness, because I feel when we talk about these things, I was sharing with Roar earlier, is like we talk about these things and we say you got to forgive, or you have to let things go, or you have to detach yourself from things and not be attached. You have to be compassionate, be nurturing, be patient. We can say that, we can talk our way around the sun all day, but when it actually comes to applying it, when it actually comes to feeling that and actually having an internal experience with that, it's on a different level. And that's where I feel most of us disassociate. We're so disassociated with ourselves that we think we're doing these, we think, because we're always in the mind, in the brain, thinking we're doing these things, when in actuality we're not, right? So there's no progress, there's no change, there's no healing, there's no break in that cycle, nothing actually changes in the experience. And this, of course, can just create more victim consciousness, the self-fulfilling prophecy where it just keeps going on. You're doing your work, you're doing all this, and you're changing all this, but then nothing, changes, and it just, it creates this dynamic where you can tell yourself this lower story of crap, right? But again, when it comes to forgiveness, again, let's not get too far off topic. When it comes to forgiveness, actually feeling that word, do you forgive yourself? Do you forgive other people? Have you forgiven? How deeply have you forgiven? You see, when we talk about forgiveness, it's not just one word and then a sentence and you can move on to something else. It's multidimensional. There's depth, there's layers to forgiveness. How much do you know forgiveness in yourself, right? And those layers of awareness is what's going to release you from the cycles, right? Because a lot of what keeps people stuck in the process, the cycle, is the lack of forgiveness, right? I actually made this connection a couple of days ago, because I have this frequency within me about ultimatums, right? It's very deeply rooted, right? But a lot of that I found out a couple of days ago is actually stemming from extreme lack of forgiveness. And we all have that. I wouldn't say extreme, but lack of forgiveness is something known to the human society. Every single person on this planet has that experience, has that frequency in them, and whatever amounts, doesn't matter. But it's an energy that will stop you from being able to move forward and also letting things go. If you can't forgive, there is no letting go. You can fool yourself, you can create a story or an illusion that you're letting things go, or like change your behavior so it seems like you're letting it go. However, there's no real letting it go until you get to the forgiving part, right? That's kind of the kicker. But that's what will challenge the pride and the arrogance within the ego to be like, you have to surrender. You have to let it go. You have to move through that process. And that's where it gets tricky, because then we go into self-righteousness. We go into, like, oh, the victim conscious, well, they did this and that, and, the comparison and everything. And it gets very choppy, when you get into that dynamic, because all of it's just justification. All of it's not really going anywhere, and it's just allowing you to stay in that place of not forgiving, right? I had a couple of moments. It was like yesterday, the day before, and it was kind of like just a memory of mom, and she, I forgot what year it was, but it just in the flurry of all these grand things that God has spoken, there was a moment she was talking about forgiveness, and there was a lot more in depth to that, where she's done everything. She's scrubbed toilets, she's washed the floor, she's done everything. Like, who are we to feel like we're above that, right? And even in this example, that God has forgiven everyone. God has given humanity her forgiveness already, even though humanity is not quite aware of that, and humanity is a little bit far from actually accepting that for themselves and embodying that. God has already given it, right? So that's a prime example of just that energy where we are resistant and stubborn or arrogant, or feel we are above these things, or don't have to give this to anyone or certain people, because we all have that list where like, oh, well, this person is this, or they did that, or and it starts to get a little bit like, wait a minute, that now you're not really unconditional, now you're being conditional with love. You're choosing and picking, you're measuring, you're downsizing, you're elaborating, you're giving more here, less here. Like, now you're getting into manipulation and all this other stuff, right? So now you got to get back to the purity of it. So if God's already given us forgiveness, we are the ones thinking that we are above God, above forgiveness, because we're the ones who choose that we don't have to, right? And that's a big red flag to look at consciously, and also in a human sense, that you are putting yourself above your Creator, right? You're putting yourself above basically the essence of the all. That you don't have to do the same things that the being that molded you into creation completely honors and integrity 100%. That has to be a red flag at some point for you. It has to kind of feel not really in alignment with you at some point. Like, yeah, okay, I can see that. I'm being a brat, or I'm being, whatever, right? Being able to see just where you're getting stuck at, but also acknowledging you are choosing not to be higher. You're choosing not to be loved. You're choosing not to be a better example, which for you to want all the grander things in life, for you to want to be released from the nightmares you get stuck in, from all the things you fight with within your ego, you have to get to the forgiveness part. There's no letting go of it for that energy to release until it gets to that part of the process. So, and I feel definitely a lot of us struggle, with that for a lot of reasons, where we will blame, project, or we'll have a lot of reasons with, just trying to. I feel there's definitely a disconnect where people try to get ahead or get away from their life, and definitely I fell into that category when I came to mission. There was definitely a part of me consciously that was trying to cut off everything that came before and literally trying to, I don't know, reinvent completely anew. Literally trying to just erase everything, and that's a big reflection of the collective, where it feels like so much, and it feels like you're trying to stay ahead of so much that at a certain point you feel like it's just better just to cut it all off, almost pretending, or almost trying to go into a split conscious way, where it's that's not me anymore, that's not my life anymore, where clearly you're still emotionally charged from it, you're still traumatized, you still have people from that lifestyle still trying to connect with you and follow you around. Clearly that life is not done. However, we just get to a place in ourselves where we don't think that we can deal with it. We don't think that we want to face that, or we get to that stubborn, prideful self where we're like, well, I'm just gonna do this, and I'm just gonna let it go, or just move away from it, change it, get a new family, new relationship, whatever like that, and then you can just forget about it, right? And a lot of people just want to get to that part where they can just forget about it and just not be accountable, and that's where a lot of energy damage, and it always comes back around, right? And there's nothing, energy does not disappear. This entire universe has constantly been retransformed over and over and over again. So the energy is not going to go away. And until you forgive it, it's going to keep coming back and back and back through whatever experience is the closest to you to get your attention in it. That's the purpose of it. It's not some vendetta where your life is just meant to be miserable to the end of the last dying breath. These things need your attention, so it's going to happen in the most volatile ways sometimes, where it literally is going to get your attention, and that's where we shy away. We go into victim consciousness, we shut down, we give up, we choose to fight back, we choose to push back, with resistance, and stay in where we are. We're just got our guns up, we got our defenses up, our walls up, and even though the words we are hearing sound true, even though we can see something, there is something to what's going on. We're just so stubborn and set in our ways that we're literally determined to a fault just to persevere, just endure whatever's going on. Still gonna be the same coming out, and that's a thick energy in the collective, where literally it's just nothing's gonna faze them, nothing's gonna change their mind, nothing's gonna make them feel, nothing's gonna make them emotionally release, nothing's gonna make them cry. You're not gonna do it, and that's a huge level of numbness, where you stuff down, suppress, where ultimately something breaks and it goes cold, right? And there's no emotional response. There's no sensation in the body to different experiences going on. It's just kind of like, it's a haze. It's just a giant blur happening around you, and you're not really stimulated by any of it. You're almost like dead, like a zombie. And there's a lot of people there in that space too. And a lot of it is, of course, because of drugs or, pharmaceuticals and a number of different things. But there are people that are consciously choosing to be in that space, whether disempowered, whether just afraid of life, It doesn't matter at the end of the day what it is, right? You still got to get to the part where you can still forgive it. And I know that sounds like wild when you talk about fear. How are you going to forgive fear? You can. Fear is forgivable, right? You got to forgive yourself for being afraid, because when you find out there's nothing to be afraid of anymore, then the ego wants you to make you feel foolish, wants you to feel shameful or guilty because you were afraid of that, or you were a coward, or you didn't step up all those different times. And it makes you try to feel, try to belittle you now, when you just made a grand accomplishment. You finally made it that far, and now it's like the ego wants to take you back in your heart. You have all the different moments before that you didn't do it, trying to diminish your success, diminish your progress, and make you feel like you haven't really moved forward at all. The ego is manipulative, and it's a nasty thing, right? And this is where we got to be disciplined, have structure within ourselves. These core truths within ourselves that no matter what, at the end of the day, we can always come back to these core truths, and they will never change, right? Because they are so pure, they are so just simple, core, pure truths, right? Pure unconditional love, divine forgiveness, right? 5D, love everywhere present. That's where we're going. This planet is ascending now. It is happening now. Every single person on this planet is included in that process. No one is exempt. We are going to make it. These are core truths that I personally hold in myself. So no matter what that ego tries to spin with, or tries to trigger, or what's going on in my experience around me, no matter what, I know now at this point, I will never get to the point where I give up so much where it will fall below those core truths now. Because I truly trust and have so much faith in those truths that this is my reality. This is happening every moment now in my reality. So no matter what I do experience, no matter how scary it is, no matter how triggering it is, no matter how, spazzing out it is, I know this still will never change the truth, right? And that calms me. That centers me. That helps me pull myself back into my heart and heart that this is a play out. This is a story. Participate, play along, let it go, release. And I start going through the process again as I start to walk myself back through the process and rehearting myself of what? My core truths. And that's part of that discipline and that stability in yourself that everyone has to have. And this is how you build your trust with yourself, that you can experience anything in life and you will be okay. You will be stable because you know in yourself you have a core, you have a center that is unshakable, right? And that's up to you and every single person to develop that for yourself and to keep working on that. That doesn't just happen overnight, and it is a continual progress. Why? Because your ego, actually, I don't know if everyone actually knows this, but, and this is probably why a lot of people have issues with their ego and issues with just a lot of stuff, you know, years after they've waken up, years after they've been working with crystals and energy healing, stuff like that, and all of a sudden they start having these issues with their ego. The more you start to wake up, the more your vibration and your consciousness starts to raise, your ego actually wakes up more, right? It starts to stir because let's say your body is a tank, right? It's an environment. When your body, the environment starts to change and become higher vibration, your ego cannot really sustain itself in your body anymore, meaning your ego is starting to die more. So this causes your ego to actually rear its head and go back at you full throttle. And this is what takes a lot of people out in spiritual ego, super ego, all these fantasies and different things, because the ego realizes what the human being is doing. It realizes you are trying to embody love. It realizes you are trying to embody divinity, your higher self soul, and it will do anything possible to stop that process, because that means the ego has to fully die for that full process to happen, right? So therefore, almost like an internal war almost begins within the awakened being as they're, you know, learning about energy and like disclosure, the cabal, the elite, all this stuff going on, and trafficking and things, and you know the galactics and planet Gaia, all these things going on. The ego is now becoming aware. It's like, wait a minute, oh snap, right? So then now it starts to record, starts to manipulate, you know, contort information and things. And this is where, if you don't have trust in yourself, if you don't have that confidence or that empowerment in yourself, or all these different things, or even have worked at it, it will be very easy for your ego to manipulate you, you know, take you out, you know, or just sabotage things, you know. And that's, again, ultimately where community comes in, right? The ego hates community, and I will tell you why. Okay, the ego loves to hide. It loves to hide. Community makes it harder for the ego to hide. There was something interesting that Mom has shared in, you know, in Mission, and of course some people were like, oh well, that's like whatever. It's actually very, very brilliant, energetically and consciously, where there was a moment on Mission where it was actually highest for Mom to address. And again, this was just present moment. It wasn't that we do this all the time or anything like that. It was for a moment, for training, so we understood what the ego would do. You know, any point in time where there's lots of closed doors, any point in time there's lots of corners or walls, there's lots of, you know, blind spots where you are cut off from other human beings being able to visually see you, there's a change. Like, the ego knows this, right? And if you actually are real enough with yourself, if you're observant of yourself enough, you could agree to this, that when you go into spaces that are completely nobody else around, there's a different vibe that starts to set in, right? It's almost like this, you feel relaxed, but there's something else that kind of tries to come in too, right? And that's that manipulation, right? Because the ego is more, the control, you know, and all these different things that we do around people. And actually, let me just stop here. This makes it more clear. When you're around other people, it makes it harder for you. Like, you're transparent. You're out in the open. People can view you and see you and, you know, call you out and different things, right? And so here's what happens. Where the ego doesn't want to be seen, it'll go into control. It'll go into, you know, robotic behavior, or try to, you know, not do anything to rock the boat or trigger anybody. So it will kind of hold that in. And you all know what I'm talking about, the trained behavior that you're so used to doing at work and different things like that. You know, like, we'll go into this controlled kind of composure where we act and just be a certain way. But when we get in our room, or we go around to a space that nobody else is around, we actually do get a lot more relaxed. The walls do come down, but also the ego comes out more too. It's a lot more, I would say, more easily flowable, So like that's where it can mess with you, through the mental thoughts, through the emotions, or it can just sit there and fester or throw you into a thought loop, right? And if you're not around anybody and like there's not a bunch of people or activity moving around, energy moving around you, and you're sitting, in your room, or you're sitting like just like somewhere like stagnant, not doing anything, then that's going to take you into deep thoughts where the ego can just manipulate and just pull you into thought loops and stuff. And so definitely the breaking of the cycles and dissolving in them, definitely two different things. So the breaking the cycles is pretty much the theme of what we're going through this month. And I feel like February, especially the end of February, it's going to be very interesting with Pluto return. And also, according to our astrologist, Aurora, all the planets are going to be direct in 2 or 3 days. So all the planets will come out of retrograde and they will be fully direct in a couple days. So that's going to be a full throttle for us. Definitely a lot of energy will be outward movement. That means there's going to be a lot of transitioning. So, and it's good things too, because a lot of, good momentum needs to be built. And so that's a lot of, I feel it's riding on these plans, just kind of like patiently holding space for it. But again, the forgiveness and everything, important part, and I say this again, I go back to this, probably will go back to a couple more times before the end of February, because of the end of February. When that Pluto return comes, it's gonna pull everything out of the dumpster, okay? And I don't know shit. I don't know specifically what's coming out or anything, or the order of events, or what's going to be said, or how. No, I don't know anything. All I'm aware of, and all I just get feel and get pinged up by the angels, is definitely this Pluto return is the massive kicker that this collective has been waiting for in a lot of ways. But it's not going to be how you think it's going to be, and that's the main thing, where the expectations, the belief systems, the projections, what you want to happen, how you think it's going to happen, so dangerous. Stay out of that lane, let it go. Even if it keeps coming back a couple times, acknowledge it, be grateful, thank the angels, still let it go, right? Because at any moment, anything can change, but it's going to be massive events coming forward, So the forgiveness is a very important part, because no matter what you find out, no matter what comes out, no matter what it gets shown across that TV, no matter what comes across the radio, no matter what you hear from other people, no matter what happens after that date or before, you will still have to make it back through to forgiveness in your process. Do not forget that. And I feel that's a very valid point to keep rehearting, so it actually kind of develop a little bit of a practice, so we don't get sideswiped by what we do start to experience and go through. Because again, it will be an individual process too. A lot of shit's going to come flying forward from in ourself too, with that Pluto return comes. So, definitely get ready. It's a massive catalyst, but reheart yourself. Forgiveness is always what you're going to return back to. And that's ultimately what's going to free you from anything that comes up, anything that starts to plague you, anything you have to deal with and transform. Forgiveness will liberate you from it. That's the key to letting it go. The letting it go will not happen before, right? So wherever you are in that process, even if you are in a process right now, if you could just reheart yourself that forgiveness is the key, and work your way towards that, wherever you are, you're going to see a lot of change. It's going to be empowering, but also feel it. Okay. Forgiveness isn't a mental thing. It's not just a thought process. It is literally a feeling. Okay. And if it helps you, put your hand over your heart. I feel that help a lot of people, when you're just learning how to feel energy and feel your heart space, your heart chakra, putting your hand over your heart will help that. Your hands have ethereal crystals in the bottom of them, in your palms. Okay. So they're always channeling energy. So when you put that over your heart space, you start to amplify your field in your heart, and it literally starts to build. You start to draw more focus there. You'll notice it if you do it. So you'll put your hand in your heart and just feel the word. When you say the word, don't think about saying the word. Feel it. Feel it like the vibration in your chest right now when you're talking, in the air in your chest. Feel it like that through your hands, in your chest, your skin. Feel that. Forgiveness, right? Feel how that word feels when you say it versus thinking about it. Feel it. And then say it a couple times. Forgiveness. 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 You see, like it has, like there's waves that come flying off of that, right? And just go deeper in yourself. And whatever you're really struggling with, whatever you're dealing with, ultimately you're going to have to get to that part in the process. So just go there, work on that part and feel your way no matter what comes up, no matter if it burns, if it hurts, or you feel like crying or grieving, or if you're mad and rageful, whatever it is, just keep your hand on your heart and just keep chanting to yourself forgiveness. And feel the word forgiveness no matter what is going on. As the trigger's coming up, the trauma, whatever like that, just keep returning yourself back to the word forgiveness, the feeling of the word forgiveness. Eventually, you're going to notice there's going to be a flip to it. You're going to generate so much energy and vibration and intention with forgiveness, it's going to override whatever is going on. And that's how you flip it. That's how you start to clear your heart, clear your energy, and return it back to forgiveness, right? And you're going to feel it. Your heart's going to like completely level out. It's going to feel calm again. Your body's going to relax. It's going to feel almost like a release of almost like a body high. It's going to feel really amazing, like a flush, once you feel that flip and actually level out in your body and balance, right? And you're going to have to do it probably a couple times, many different times, because there's probably layers to it. And this is why you have to have patience with yourself. Don't give up so easily. Don't get tired of the process. And if that's what the thing, if you get bored or you feel like the process is just becoming robotic, change it up. Add little tweaks to it. Be creative. It doesn't have to be a straight black and white, 3-step process all the time. You can have fun with it. You can be flexible with it and make it fun, childlike. But definitely just support yourself more and encourage yourself more to get to forgiveness. Okay, so I feel that'll help everybody out a lot. All right, so let's talk about the live stream. Well, actually, not the live stream, the horoscope. So January 29th for today. So today it says Venus in Capricorn ends her retrograde. Oh, so that just ended today. Venus in Capricorn ends her retrograde journey that began on December 19th. The pre-shadow period commenced on November 17th, and the post-shadow period will last until March 3rd. During this time, Venus will recover from the mess that began last month and in November. This means that we can feel an energetic shift for the better that relieves financial and relationship tensions. Interesting. The caveat is that until Venus clears its shadow, there will be still a lot of things left to deal with. Basically, the story is far from over. There might be a reversal of fortune. Excuse me. When Venus ends her retrograde, we will be able to gain more clarity about how we invest our energy and deal with relationship issues in the future. It will take a while for us to overcome the upheaval that occurred over the past 40 days, but as long as we're dedicated to giving all of our improving to the situation, we can thrive. Don't give up. Know that the journey toward bliss is an uphill battle that will require more time and energy. The hardest part is over. And that is true. We are already in 2022. We already made it, okay? So any kind of dreary, apocalyptic, all that stuff, just let it go. We made it to 2022, and the energy is going to keep climbing higher and higher. And just for everyone's awareness out there, not to burst anyone's bubbles, but for there to be a zombie apocalyptic fallout or whatever, the consciousness and vibration on this planet would have to plummet tremendously low. So that is not happening. We are going the other direction. We're going up. We are vibrating higher, and it's going to keep increasing and cooking and compressing. So again, and I feel like as people let more and more go of their projections onto the future, what they think it's actually going to happen, their fears, and I feel like a lot of that is shutting people down. Because I know I came from Texas. There's a ton of people in Texas that literally have these bunkers, underground houses, and like literally put so much money. These people got money, these farmers, and that's what they spend it on. They literally are so much in fear that they spend their fortunes and millions of dollars on these underground bunkers and stuff. And that's where they're going to plan to be at in the next like 5 to 10 years. They really feel this world's going to shit, and they're going to move it down there, and they're going to stake it out for the next 40 years, and they'll be all right. And for people to get to that point, they've already given up. They've already given up on humanity. They've given up on the planet. They've given up on whatever course of action could possibly happen to correct anything. They've given up on all of it. They've quit, right? All they're waiting for is sitting around waiting for the signs. They're waiting for a rocket shooting through the sky. They're waiting for fires or some kind of alarm, and they're grabbing their little pack that they have, ready to go, and they're booking it. They're going down underground. That's it. And that we have to change that consciousness too, right? The only way to do that is there has to be a respark in inspiration. What's going to bring back the hope, the faith, the actual care, the want this planet to make it, the want this world to actually flip into a better reality? What's going to take for those people to, come out of that cold numbness where they literally have just completely sold humanity off, like wrote us off completely, and there's not a chance of us coming back from what's happening in their minds. What's it going to take for them to believe again or trust again, have faith and love again, that things can be healed, things can restore, things can rejuvenate, things can come back from ashes into something that was better than was before? What's going to take for that imagination, that childlike wonder and brilliance and just like, non-attachment to start to come back to those people, right? So again, the planet, our consciousness, our vibration has to go higher, has to keep climbing higher and higher and higher until it breaks and snaps these cycles that have just kept people in these, they quit, they give up. There's so many brilliant people on this planet, and they have so much potential, but then the motivation, gone. The purpose, gone. The inspiration and the actual like the dedication to even go for it, to even apply themselves, gone. Right? It's dead. What a waste. What a waste of beautiful divinity, right? Just to sit there and go to waste because there's no empowerment, there's no confidence, there's no love, there's no forgiveness. So you cannot be released from your burdens, from your traumas, from your guilt, your shame, all those different things, and then you just get to the point where you've accumulated so much and have not let go of anything, where you break down. Sometimes people give up, and it's not even by their conscious choice. They've just have accumulated so much energy and density in their body and their auric field where they literally cannot take on any more energy. And then the body literally starts to collapse. It starts to short circuit, break down, starts to decay, have cancer, all kinds of different things, because the body cannot take any more stress. And there's no relief. There's no release. There's no forgiveness. There's no letting it go. Therefore, it's just being stuffed in the body, and the body is going to get to a breaking point because it cannot hold that poison inside for so long, right? So again, as the energy keeps going higher and higher and higher, it's going to compress and squeeze all this density into where it starts to really just break up, come to the surface however it needs to, and release. And ultimately, that's what's going to get people to feeling better. That's going to help people start to see differently right now. Because, while people are so clouded in things and just they're suffocating or just drowning in their own misery, there's nothing you can say to people. There's nothing you can flaunt in their face or show them shiny and glittery. It doesn't matter. They can't see it. It doesn't move them. It doesn't stimulate them at all. It's nothing to them, right? It doesn't move them at all. And that's a very sad place to be in, right? But again, we're all flipping it. We're moving out of that space. We're changing those experiences. So the more and more people wake up, the more we keep rising in vibration, practicing love, letting go, forgiving, all that. We're just going to reach that place, right? Pluto return in literally a month. It's going to be a kicker. So Definitely, I feel, and that the angels definitely impressed upon me. It was highest, a week ago to get moving on that one. Probably because the events from Pluto return in February, it's gonna be a massive test for all of us. Meaning, it's gonna be like a multidimensionally designed test for everyone, and specifically, around your life, around your energy, around whatever it is left for you to heal and let go of. It's gonna be a double whammy from mom. So get good at forgiving, get good at practicing that flow, get good at feeling your way through that. I definitely guide everyone to start doing that, because when these events start happening, it is more harder to try to implement a practice or a discipline or try to learn something while you are in mid spin, while you are in mid trigger, or trying to pull your energy back and calm down, but then now you're trying to learn to forgive at the same time, and you're gonna like freak yourself out. Okay, it's gonna be too much pressure. So while these moments are calmer, I'm not saying they're calm for everyone, while they're calmer, try to work a little bit on yourself with these things, and just get a good reading on yourself, get a good gauge, where are you at with forgiveness, where are you at with letting things go, where are you at with receiving, surrendering, allowing, accepting, embracing. Where are you at with all these different things? Get a good gauge on that, feel your way through that, practice it a little bit. That way, when this energy comes in the end of February, it's not such a slap in the face with the things that start happening. You've already been working on this all month long, to the point where it's like, all right, yep, got it, forgiven it, yep, all right, we're letting that one go. All right, yep, don't worry about that, I trust. You see, you're already in practice with it. You're already establishing a flow with it. So by the time that energy comes at the end of February, it's not really something where it's gonna be like, oh my God, you just apply it to the same process you're going through and just keep moving through it. Forgive, let go, trust, and have faith, all those different things, right? Get a good flow now, okay? That's support, that's helping yourself and showing up. So, alrighty then. Oh yeah, it was hard. I remember looking at it was like, I think it was a live stream from like 2 days ago. Mike Fortune had commented. He was like, he was sharing about his experience with lack of forgiveness, and how his lack of forgiveness has led him to being very sickly, very ill right now. And of course, that's ultimately what happens when we hold things in. It just literally just starts to penetrate through the physical body. If we're not going to let it go through the mental thought process, if we're not going to let it go emotionally, it's going to eventually drop down to the physical, where the body will have to figure out how to let it go by purging it. And sometimes it's not a comfortable experience. Sometimes it's painful. It's flu-like. It's just, this is where a lot of us are going through right now. So, again, the more you forgive, the more you let go. And also another thing too, Mike, and for everyone, the forgiveness part actually, for the energy of forgiveness, actually, it's like it's not the frequency of forgiveness vibrationally matches with the lymph nodes in the body, if that makes sense. So, you kind of create a picture for everyone. Your lymph nodes that hold all the toxins and bacteria in your body, that are basically the canals that move that stuff out of your body. A lot of times people have issues where they get sick a lot because the lymph nodes aren't, releasing, or they get puffy, or your neck gets swollen, different parts where your body where the lymph nodes are, and people just end up getting sick because it's not releasing, right? Forgiveness is a vibrational match to your physical body lymph nodes. Therefore, by practicing more forgiveness and really feeling that vibration in your body, almost on a daily process, like literally, like, not really in meditation, just intentionally feeling into the frequency of forgiveness and feeling that energy flow through your body, you'll notice your lymph nodes are going to start, releasing more and more, right? And it releases the toxins and all the bacteria and things from your body. And that's ultimately what happens. We don't forgive, we hold it in, right? You forgive all the pain, you release all the bad bacteria. It's like the body will physically respond to how you are consciously, emotionally, and mentally, spiritually responding to your life. The physical body will be the direct mirror of that. If you're not going to let it go, if you're going to blame, if you're going to hold it in, if you're going to do all this mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, guess what? The physical body is going to mirror it on the back end and do the same thing for you, right? So again, it's kind of like a checkmate, but just work with yourself, be present, be observant, and drink tons of water. That also is going to help you release a lot of toxins and things too. All right, let's get to the card. I feel we have time for... Yeah, we have time for it. So I'm going to pick a number real quick. Give me 1 second. That is weird. Oh. All right, so number 1 through 100. What's it gonna be, angels? All right. I wrote the number down 1 through 100. Anybody who's new, so basically I wrote number down 1 through 100. You just gotta guess or feel into which number you feel it is and write it down in the comments. Telegram folks, just go back to the channel you were in before. There's gonna be a join as listener box. You can comment in that comment box in the bottom what your number is. All right, let's get an animal card for you folks. This is going to be for the collective real quick while we're waiting for numbers from everybody. All right, so... Beautiful. Number 18, Dear Spirit, bring a gentle touch. It's funny, we've been like talking about forgiveness a lot during the stream, and like my lymph nodes and things were like, it's like releasing, and now my nose is all stuffy as this thing's releasing through my, all this. So yeah, it's funny. You keep practicing it, it'll move it through your body. It's fascinating. Huh? No, it's in the back part, like behind my eyes right now, like the tension. Thank you, beautiful. Thank you. Bring a gentle touch. The time has come to be gentle and diplomatic when dealing with others. You might have found yourself in a situation where negotiations are necessary in order to reach your goal. Be heartful of the words you choose, but do not worry. Dear Spirit hearts you that you have the ability to be sure-footed and confident while showing humility and respect for others. You will find that your capacity for calm and grounded communication is heightened at this time. Follow the way of Dear Spirit and you will do well, gaining the respect of others and finding common ground that is pleasing to you. Remember that understanding others and their needs will be more powerful at this time than putting your own first. If you do that, you will be rewarded tenfold. Dear Spirit is bringing you a gentle warning that now is not the time to engage in an argument, no matter how volatile others are being. Do not match their intensity with your own. You are dealing with an overly assertive person. Step back and disengage, lest you agree to something out of alignment with your intentions. Don't let anyone bully you into anything you're uncomfortable with. You have solid footing if you stand your ground with grace. Those who disagree will begin to find their own gentleness and willingness to compromise. Dear Spirit also brings a message that it might be easy to offend someone today, or take offense because someone lacks diplomacy. Let all of that pass. You are not meant to take this world personally. While it's a beautiful gift to be sensitive, today you need a tougher hide so any compromises you make allow you to maintain your integrity. That is beautiful. That's an awesome card right there. I know I resonate with that. That was probably a big theme for me and some other people this morning. And just this collective energy coming through. We're learning more to communicate with each other more in a loving, heartfelt way. And also learning not to be, victim conscious all the time too, because there is a point where it just gets to a point where like everyone just, there is and it definitely drove me nuts, in 3D, especially when I worked at, 3D jobs, 9 to 5 jobs and things where like literally it got to the point where you were walking on eggshells around people and like you want to just like take something and throw it against the wall because like everyone is like everyone's in on it and everyone's pretending everyone's playing the game, but nobody wants to kind of like be the one to kind of like rock the boat. It's like you got to get to the point where like literally like those channels open more and the communication gets better and we're more vulnerable, we're more transparent and all these things. And it's just funny, like so many tests, so many triggers to bring those blessings and healings forward. So definitely the trickle out is real, people. Get ready for it, and it's beautiful. This world needs to learn to communicate more, not only on a country level, but also international level, across countries, and so many things and more. And that will solve a lot of things, even with government systems and everything. If you connect the world, why do we need all these different separate government systems? Oops, that's too much. All right, let's go back to what we're doing. Card pulling. So let's do Oracle deck with the sassy unicorns. All right, let's see. Ooh, money signs, and on the back it says make it rain. Yo, you know what that means? Angels are giving you full green lights. Make it rain, full throttle, let's go. However, just to remind everyone, the planets all do go direct in about 2 days, so if there's a lot of big movements or choices, I'll probably put it on the back burner just for a little bit while longer, and then you'll be good to go, right? So oh yeah, another thing to share with you all. So another big, beautiful, awesome, amazing topic that I'm excited to share with everybody. And also I feel it's really cool because this is gonna be it's gonna go somewhere massive, and I can just see it. For a long time period, and many of us who came to Mission definitely were part of definitely like some kind of spiritual healing, or we practiced, or we were certified or masters of different energy modalities, and that energy definitely it plays a big role in humanity, especially with the spiritual lightworker community. It's a big energy that backs that community, is the ability for the spiritual healing and just the awareness, the wisdom, the teaching of that, and just the community in that and the healing. And it provides a different atmosphere, absolutely. So that definitely has coming back around where I feel, definitely with breaking of the cycle. And it's interesting when we're talking about breaking of cycles, because that also is another, we're coming from that life, and it definitely is stuff we've let go, but also it's something that, we are charged with evolving further. What is next after that? And so we have to break those old cycles, break the old modalities, break out of those, because we're no longer in those lower consciousnesses. We're not longer in, the planet itself is now in a higher vibration. Whereas 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, the energy on the planet was a lot lower. The consciousness on this planet was a lot lower, which that ultimately, it dictates what can be possible in a reality, if that makes sense. So where we had all these different kinds of modalities and energy healing and different things like that, it limited what was possible for us, working with that in that space. So now that we've gotten to this part now, we've moved through, different modalities like Reiki and other, a lot of that just disempowers the being, okay? It's not to, belittle the practice or say that there's no importance to it. A lot of it is amazing, brilliant information and, assistance for human beings. But however, the disempowerment part is where it keeps you going back to this. It keeps you externalized in some way. There's always some, deity or these other different things, or it's just like, or these other people were basically, they had this fantasy or this consciousness belief where it's their energy or their power, and that's definitely, beings who have practiced sorcery, beings who have come from, who, pagan background or Wiccans or, whatever. And there's no judgment. Absolutely not. And those are all beautiful backgrounds because they're all different aspects of, old ancient knowledge and wisdom that's been held on and passed on, for years. And one day all of it's going to connect back together, and we are going to have a deeper, connection with nature and this planet and, creation, the energy, the magic that this planet holds and, that we are a part of. So again, not judging any of it. However, at this point, they are all belief systems. They are all old, outdated processes or systems of healing, where we are now in 2022 and even the last couple of years have been in a higher vibration, a higher consciousness now as a planet and as a collective, where we can now have higher possibilities with our healing. Things can happen quicker, and deeper, greater healing can also take place as well, whereas before it took longer. It was a more drawn-out process. Now things are simpler and a lot faster, right? So that shows us now that we are in a space now to move forward, right? So for all of us, here at 5D full disclosure, so we've channeled a whole new healing system now that we're gonna basically disclose, or we're gonna share the post. I thought I had shared it on this to share with y'all on the actual screen, and I did not, so I can't let you see it, but well, actually, no, I can show you on this thing because this camera works. I can actually do it that way. There we go. And then we're going to do that. Okay, cool. So, there we go. So the training workshop, Quantum Energy Healing, so that begins February 6th, and it's going to be about 10 workshops or more. So this is going to be a really big energy system package, basically. It's going to help everyone. Oh, you can't see my face. There we go. I forgot the other. John Cena. Can't see me. So, like, I don't know, a lot of people are very familiar with energy healing, crystals, all that. I was very much of a big spiritual nut when it came to Reiki and just like working with magic. I did for moments dip into like Santeria and voodoo and things like that a little bit earlier on when I was very kind of like got hijacked and stuff and went a little bit the wrong way. But anyways, no matter what backgrounds you have, what experiences you have, it can all be flipped and used for the higher. Your skills, your talents, what your abilities have changed into, all of that can evolve and be an amazing asset for the light, for love, for helping assist humanity heal. And so definitely I'm really excited to share this with everybody. So that's going to be 10 or more workshops just for the first level 1. Okay, it's going to be in 3 different levels, and it's basically going to walk us through the whole system process. By the end of this, it's going to be so different to the point where it's kind of weird. And we're going to do an introduction video too, because like trying to squeeze into like these little moments of a summary is a lot. We'll do like a stream or introduction video, but basically this is the next step for everyone who wants to step up as a master, as an individual healer, embodiment of your higher self, and like literally applying these teachings and practices and living the lifestyle. Like literally this is it, moving forward with that. That's one thing I remember from the years that I went through, the Reiki before and up to like a Reiki master, and that was so much dedication through those years because it was empowering. It was purposeful. There was so much to work for, and like just the dedication and seeing my progress and just going through that experience. It gives you certain qualities about yourself, especially spiritually, that a lot of people have lost or have not been able to gain in this life because they didn't really have a religious background or really spiritual background, right? This helps empower you through that. This helps give you that foundation, and you grow with it, right? And it's something special that is completely created and birthed from inside of you. It's a connection between you and Prime Source Creator, nobody else. There's no deities, there's no any middle messenger, none of that stuff, okay? There's no rituals. is very simple, pure, loving connection with Prime Source, Mother God creation. And so this experience is going to be very, very amazing. So if anyone feels pinged on that, again, we're going to post about it. We're going to share a lot more information about it coming up. And we're going to do an introduction video to explain more about it. So stay tuned for that. But basically, that's where we're going with it. You know, it's the next step of teaching self-empowered healing. Okay, the externalization of, you know, needing things or going, you know, like to heal or to, like, you know, it's over. You know, and especially needing other people. And that's one thing about Reiki and those certain healing modalities that I definitely got bored of, was the amount of, you know, keeping it for themselves, the teachers or the beings that were actually, you know, sharing with the class. And it was like, they would give you little nuggets, they would give you little tidbits, and you would get like little puzzle pieces to it, and then you had to keep coming back to them to get the bigger picture of it, and then you still didn't have enough to actually figure it out. And that's so disempowering. It's like playing cat and mouse with somebody. And when you're dealing with someone's spiritual healing, when you're dealing with someone's, you know, empowerment of themselves and evolution, you don't play games with that. And that's something, unfortunately, the spiritual community has fallen into, with manipulation and also feeling very entitled, you know, with the work, quote unquote, that they feel that they have done, to where it's a point where it's like, literally, it's so controlled, right? And that ultimately, it ends up confusing people, ends up shutting people down in the middle of their healing process, to where they just stop and don't go back to it. All number of things happen, you know, with that. So definitely flipping that energy and also breaking that cycle. I feel this is a huge step in that direction. So again, we'll get more information on that and share with you all later on. But yeah, super excited for us to be doing that. So, all right, let's look at those beautiful numbers. Let's see where everybody's at. Okay. Wait, I forgot what number I even wrote down. I'm pretty sure I wrote number 27. Ha! It's the flip. It's 72. So, number 72. Let's see who got closest to that. All right. So, yeah, 23, 19, or 91, 37, 67. Ooh, 67, 43, 53. All right. Pretty sure. Okay. All right, and then on to Telegram real quick. We got 22, 25, 24, 2, 24. Okay, you can't put two numbers with a hyphen and try to, like, you can't, like, choose 20 numbers at the same time. It's such cheating. That's a whore energy, okay? One number per person. Okay, you know, it's like those old fashioned. I don't even know if they have them anymore. They used to have in those buildings when I was a child. You go into like those busy professional buildings, and there's like that red rolly tape thing, and you pull the tape and you take a number and you sit down and it's like you get one number. And I remember, like, me and my brother, we got in trouble because we, like, went over there. We got so bored and we were, like, waiting for our mom to do something. Like, went over there and we kept playing with the numbers and pulling them. And so, like obviously, like, there's a big gap from, like, where the last person was in that number, and then we had pulled out like 10 or more different numbers. So then, like, it jumped, and so then it threw the other person off that came in the door now. So now they had like a number that was so far out when it was like nobody was actually gonna go. So, like, it would have been the same amount of time, but they wouldn't know. But obviously, it was just like that childlike wonder and brilliance to trigger the adults, because it's like, you know, fuck the control and the flow. We just want to play. You know? But it was funny. Anyway, so 22, 25, 24, 74. Ooh, Tiger Paw 1129. That's very good. Let's see. 6. We got 77 from Heather. Beautiful. Oh, that was very close. And we got 33, 21, and 6. Awesome numbers, folks. And then we're going to check YouTube real quick. Uno momento, por favor. And then we have this. Heather. Beautiful. All right. And we have 55 and 70 penny cents. Wow, a couple of y'all got 70 or like just around that. That's really good. That's super close. So I feel the person who actually was the closest was actually Igor! So congratulations, Igor. You got it, bro. No, wait, no. Not Igor. I thought I saw the... Hold on, I have to go back and look at numbers again. I looked at so many numbers and now I forgot which name I saw with that number. I'm sorry, Igor. Oh, man. Now I feel bad. I gotta transform that. Which person did I just see? Oh, my goodness. Oh, it was Tiger Paw. That's right. It was Tiger Paw with 74. You were just 2 off. I apologize. Great job, Tiger Paw. Igor, brother, I apologize. I love you. All right, let's get that card out the way. All right. Igor. I love you, man. All right. So for Tiger Paw, let's see. Beautiful. So number 45, Parrot Spirit. Watch your words. Ooh. All right, 55. Oh, 45. So watch your words. What are you saying to yourself? What message are you repeating? Is it something that makes you feel good about yourself and reminds you of your strengths and potential? Parrots mimic the sounds around them, and when Parrot Spirit appears, it is time to be more heartful and conscious of your self-talk and its qualities. What do you say to others? Are you repeating what you truly believe? Remembering to speak with light and love can become a habit. Be generous with compliments and thanks, affirming all that is good so that your loving, healing words will be heard throughout the jungle. Cutting through the noise and inspiring others. Listen for the words that reheart you of all the strength, abundance, and joy in your life and in the world around you, and then repeat them, affirming what is real, true, and nurturing to the soul. The universe will reflect back to you the story you tell. Words matter, so choose ones that lift you up and inspire others to remember the beauty that surrounds us. Are you aware of what you're saying to yourself and others? Parrot Spirit shows up as a reharder to heed the words that flow from your mouth, your pen, and your keyboard. Be conscious of the beliefs you have internalized. Are they what you choose to believe? Are you communicating with integrity? Parrot Spirit wants you to listen to what you say and your motives for saying it. Right speech is called for now, which means you are called to reflect on the beliefs that have been parroted by people so often that you simply accepted them unquestioningly. Journal about what you truly believe and wish to see in the world and in your life. Write words affirming that what you value, speak them aloud, expressing gratitude for what is just coming into being. Your voice is power, and you can change the conversation in your heart and in the world around you. Parrots represent the law of praise, so you are called to speak the truth and speak with love. Awesome, bro. And then let's do a funny, sassy unicorn card. Where's the deck at? Oh, here it is. All right, sassy, funny unicorn card. Oh, the book that I'm reading from is the Spirit Animal Oracle book by Colette Baron Reed. I don't know if you can see that picture. I think the box is actually bigger. There we go. The box is bigger. This is the deck that it comes from. All right, and so this is our Rebel Unicorn deck. All right. For Tiger Paw. All right. It's dark and you can't see a fucking thing. Get your head out of your ass, pronto. Wow, that's very bluntly said. Beautiful. So there's a sassy unicorn funny card for you. And then we're all there. Definitely in many, many different moments. I was there, been there. today I was there. This morning I was there. You know, it's just one of those things that the ego will try to get you any moment, and you just gotta pull your head out of your ass. Just gotta keep going. You know, don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Don't quit. And obviously, surely at this point, you didn't just waste all that energy. You didn't just put in all that effort. You didn't just work and push yourself. You didn't not give up all those times before just to get to this point to actually give up. That's like kind of a waste, right? That I don't care who you are. If you don't give up a couple times, even though you wanted to, and then you finally get to a point where you do give up, doesn't that make you like more bitter about all those moments that you did push through? Like, it just makes you salty, right? Don't do that to yourself. So, anything else, angels? They just said just work on receiving. You know, definitely just is the energy more in your right ear, and it kind of comes down to the back of your right shoulder blade and under your armpit. You know, so definitely like the receiving part, but also like being able to support that. You know, and that's a good point too. A lot of times when it comes to receiving things, we hear or we receive things from people or what people share with us, and we don't feel like we can support it. We have resistance to supporting what people share with us, and that's definitely an energy. So, you know, and it's definitely, I mean, I have that too. I definitely resonate with that. But for everyone out there, just, again, it's all about just surrender, let go of resistance, you know, walk yourself through that process and feel it. But if you feel it for that energy, you know, like the not wanting to support what you're receiving or, you know, support what's being shared or given to you, not wanting to support it, you know, you can feel it. It's almost like a rubber band being pulled from like your wrist on your right hand all the way back here to your armpit and then over your shoulder blade, you know. So just work with that, and the more you consciously feel into that, like, do I have that behavior? Do I pull back? Do I choose consciously to refuse or resist supporting things that are shared with me or given to me or being expressed to me, you know, being said to me? Do I have that energy where I do that to people? And if you can see in yourself, the more you accept it and just go into that space and kind of like look at yourself, reflect, it will start to dissolve and make that energy more loose and flexible, and it will start to release. You know, and of course, you're moving your body, being flexible, drinking lots of water and things, and being disciplined. All that will help, of course. So, I love you, love you, brother. That was it for that. Whew. All right. And that feels that's about it. So I love you all. Take beautiful care of yourselves. We will be back. I see today is Saturday, so we will be back in a couple of days on Tuesday. Tuesday around 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And definitely we'll have already posted about the quantum energy healing workshop. All that will be posted, and more information. The introduction video will be shared as well. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I really, really look forward to this next month, and also by the end of February, because not only am I excited about this energy ramping up, about us getting, you know, more energy pushing, but also the change. You know, this stagnancy, the de la of like just suffocating like non-movement on this planet has been for the last 4 months. It's insane. So like literally the fact that things are starting to shift and the gears are literally starting to change fast, where you can literally feel, you can smell something's on the horizon, something's coming, you can hear it, you can see something in the distance, you just can't quite make it out yet. It's there, right? That is so exciting to finally start to like feel that within the energy, and to, you know, see the energy start to change, start to pick up, start the motivation things, the energy starting to get more intense because things are about to, you know, switch up a notch, you know. So happy. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. We'll be back on Tuesday, and definitely drink water ceremonies, you know, the whole 9 yards. And, you know, the more you support yourself, the more conscious reflection and just loving yourself, the easier the process will be with healing and releasing. Okay? Don't forget about forgiveness. I love you all. Take care. Mwah.